call to order the September 8th, 2021 agenda, meeting for the Poolsville Parks Board, Recreation and Streets. Time is now 7:09, and we have thank you. Pat Trainer, Jeff McIntyre, Gail, myself, Doug, Preston, and John Strong. I think that's it, right? At the moment, I think we figured out that we can approve the July minutes.
I make a motion, we approve the July minutes as published.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or discussion? None. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. You have to
Opposition?
abstain, Gail.
I guess we had put it, we're on, okay. So, next meeting is October 6th, 2021. Citizen comments, do any of you folks have anything that is not on the agenda or not, that you can't put there that you want to discuss or address? Make us aware of? Okay. Thank you. So citizen comments right down to, excuse me. So I'm going to do this a little out of order because we'll get somebody in and out because the only thing they have is something real quick here. American Legion Post. Would you come up, please?
Turn your button on so it's red. Push the button.
There you go. And then just name and address.
Oh, Annette Howard, 17100 Cubic Court, Poolsville, Maryland.
Okay, thank you. I think you had submitted a permit, correct?
I did. Well, I guess it's considered a permit. It's just formality.
Where did I see that today? All right, so you represent the
247.
Post. I'm trying to get my.
Is this for the
Wayland's Commons.
Waiting Common,
poster.
the posters?
Yes.
Like we did last year?
Yep,
It's
yep.
going to mimic last year. The only difference is you'll see the big banner that we have with our post number.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Matt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I sent you a picture.
I thought it was well,
Yeah, I thought.
really well done last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, see,
Oh, yeah, we had umpteen people stopping us and
Yeah.
big crowd on Veterans Day.
Yeah. Okay, do you need anything from, really, it comes down to anything from Preston as far as,
Nope. You're just going to see us up there putting in the posters. Yep.
And it's a cool thing, so.
yeah?
I make a motion, we approve the permit as submitted.
A second.
Motion's been moved and seconded that we approve the request for the closures for the American Legion Post 247. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions? Nays? No. Thank you very much.
Come join us. We have a big
Thank
crowd.
you.
It poured last year, and we still had a big crowd.
very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all that one. I thought it was that short. All right. Skatepark Expansion. Yeah, just name and address when you sit down.
Gabriel Herman, 17901 Bliss Drive, Poolsville. So yeah, I have updates for like the skate park. I got some of the grant stuff already, and I finished the like just like the somewhat, just like an idea of like where I want to expand on this, which is the, yeah, which is like the plan, overall plan for it and stuff. So I don't really know how you guys would like see this or not.
Yeah, yeah.
We can pass it around up here.
Either that or take one of those people right here.
Did you draw that?
The extension part, yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. And then because there wasn't enough room to fit the half pipe, I just did this. So it's extra piece.
Did you do this? Did you
Well-
download the CAD program and go to town?
Well, we got
Or
the,
John did it for you?
yeah.
And the second one, same thing?
It's just, no, it's not. It's just the entire plan of the place.
Oh, wow, okay, all right, so we're focusing on.
Yeah.
this
Okay,
part,
so
right?
this is right here.
Mhm.
And where would this be in relation to this?
Wait, this?
Yeah.
Right here.
Down here. Is that it?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
what
okay.
that's supposed to
So,
be.
I got you. Is there another clip? This is the half pipe down.
All right, we should be able to put that up, right?
Yeah.
So this is all, this is the current, this is the proposed extension?
So.
Anything kind of in dotted lines, the proposed
Yeah.
extension?
So, right through here would be like to extend more space on these quarter pipes for landing,
Okay.
because all of us, we just always like go straight to the dirt, because there's no space to like stay on. And then here, this isn't all to scale, by the way, so what you're seeing here isn't going to be to scale, hardly at all. But yeah, so here will be, on this side, would be a mini ramp with a spine in the middle, and then back here, I'd like to take this out and then extend this half pipe behind this, and then through here, since people usually like to jump this hip right here, there isn't any place to go except to do a really like hard turn, or to just like go straight and then bail because you go straight to grass. So I would like to add like a little half pipe here to like, not half pipe, quarter pipe here to cars so you can keep your flow going throughout the park. And yeah, those are the 4 things that I would like to expand on it.
Then here on the grant, I've started to do, let's see. While I'm finding my questions for this, where are we on like, with like the, feasibility, assessment?
Well-
Haven't been formed loose to do anything yet.
Yeah,
Right,
so
yep.
we needed this, right, in order to go do the feasibility. So now
Yep.
that we have this,
Then we go to the commissioner.
Right.
And then they have to say, yes, let's look into it, and then they'll give him authorization to pursue and look at what he needs to, he's not free.
Alright,
yeah. The commissioners have to prove his hours.
Yeah.
So, so tell me more about this grant. Is this something you found online, through
Yeah,
the
I
skate
found-
association, or?
yeah, I found this online. It's the Maryland Department of Natural Resources.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
All right.
What is that, for what type of funding is that?
It's for, like, parks and recreation.
That Project Open Space money,
Excuse me?
Project Open Space, that's the grant money you're looking at?
I'm not sure.
If you'll share that with me.
Yeah.
Alright, like now, or?
They got a lot of experience with these grants, so they kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the rest of my presentation.
Well, that's a question, right?
Gabriel, can you, I'm sorry, could you just elaborate a little more, or point to where you were saying we were expanding? Which, like,
So like, yeah, so here would be like the half pipe.
so right now, is that where it just drops off? Or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
just
there?
grass.
Right now, this
Okay,
is
that's what I was
all
wondering.
done
Lines are what I want to extend.
Okay.
You can't really, yeah, you
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
hard
have to
to
go up
see,
there.
yeah.
But if you look and see, he's got it all, the dotted lines are the extensions, which is mostly off the back
Okay.
side. And
and on the side. of
give,
the-
orientate me here. So
So
that,
this would be facing the back end of the Tractor Supply.
okay, gotcha. And then
Yeah.
this would be going
So
toward,
this would be facing the front of the
Towards where the sign is.
the
The entrance.
this would be facing the main road on Woburn Ave.
okay,
Yeah.
yep.
And then this right here would be facing McDonald's restaurant.
Okay.
And this goes for the same thing as this half pipe.
Okay, and the dog park is that way.
Yeah, the
Towards
dog
the-
part
towards the
would
left.
be this way.
Yeah,
Yep,
way to left,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's essentially the front of it, the side of it,
Yeah.
and a little bit off the back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Real quick question, have you talked to Margaret Lasher yet? for that?
No, I don't know who she is.
I would recommend that you reach out to Margaret Lasher, okay, she's right here, and confirm that this type of grant is acceptable for what you're proposing.
Okay, this is a parks and playground, and they may not consider this to be a playground. Okay, it is part of a park, but I would talk to her and make sure before you pursue it too much,
Alright.
because it's no fun turning in a grant and then they just say no.
Yeah, there may be other grants though too, don't
Yeah,
get discouraged. If
don't
they
get
say- if she-
discouraged,
If she
yeah.
says that's not the right one, ask her to direct you to the right one.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's what they do,
Yeah.
okay?
Hey,
Okay.
John, when we built the first, or the original park here, do we have, we must have the records of who we communicated with at a funding or,
I
area
would-
or something?
I would think that those people are no longer,
Long gone.
yeah, yeah. So.
True, but, yeah, all right.
I
So.
mean, the department maybe.
So-
Yeah, that's, I'm thinking of the apartment.
Yeah,
the
so
department.
what I would do is reach, and that was for a brand-new park. I would reach out to the person there. They'll most likely be able to point you in the right direction and get you going. And it may take a couple of phone calls, but that's what the state's there for. And there may be other options, different grants, opportunities. Okay, and they may even have a section now for just skate parks, I don't know.
Yeah. And Gabe, so here's my thought process, right? And I don't know if the rest of the commission, or the commissioners, the Parks Board members, thank you. I think the concept is cool, but we can't really move forward unless we have a site study done that says, oh, you can actually do these things here based on the layout of the land and the water runoff and all that good stuff. So I think getting ahead of the game and finding out where to go, do we have the right grant process and all that good stuff is good, but we need to get that feasibility study done before we can even
Yeah.
apply for a grant, because if not, as part, as you can see, it's part of the actual grant process, right? But we didn't mean to hijack your rest of your presentation. Why don't you, if you want to finish up? and then-
No. Do you guys have any idea if we do recommend it, like when we might get one done?
Now,
Yeah.
what you should probably try to do, and we should probably do, is put him on the next agenda, next commissioners.
Commissioners meeting,
That's what
yeah.
I was going
And
to.
so the next step is, we're going to say it's a good idea, but now you have to sell it to the commissioners, okay?
Okay.
So, to me, that plan you have there is nice, but what I would do, I would actually highlight with a color, pink, yellow, what you're gonna add on. It would just be so much easier, because right now, everything kind of blends
Yeah,
together,
I
and
can-
it's well
Yeah.
done.
Yep.
But I would
Yeah.
take it to the next step, because they're going to sit there and try to visualize it. Now, we know about the skate park, I would
Yeah.
improve that, and I would get on the next
Mhm.
possible, I don't know when the next one is, but just call town hall, and have you put that on the agenda. And then when you talk to them, then they will find they're gonna find it's a good idea. Then then the next step is him.
It should be, so just to let you know, it should be, the next commissioners meeting will be virtual for sure, okay?
Okay.
And that will be probably 2 weeks from this past Monday, okay? Because they meet every 2 weeks, basically. They meet
Okay.
twice a month, okay? One of the things you're gonna wanna do, also, if you can give me a heads up of how many additional square feet you're gonna be adding to the park,
Alright.
okay? Because I have to figure out, there's Montgomery County stormwater management requirements can get rather difficult in the state, the entire state, because we're trying to save the bay. Okay, so, if it's less than 5,000 square feet in total grading, okay, and that goes, remember, you're building something up, you gotta put something on the backside, right? So if it's less than 5,000 square feet, we can probably get a small land disturbance for that, okay? If it's bigger than that, then we have to go through the stormwater management process. And those two things will impact it, okay?
And it affects the cost too. Which
Yeah.
we'll need for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the next step in the process, and once we can get the feasibility study, we can say that it's done, then we gotta get the commissioners to say, oh, we think it's a good idea, and then we can go and get quotes from different companies and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, you definitely wanna get on the agenda. So, Preston, if he's gonna have to do this virtually in 2 weeks,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
how
too.
should he prepare that?
Well, personally, I would sit there, do you have capabilities making a copy or not? Or is that all you have?
I
Well,
don't
that's-
think we have,
that's a
like,
huge
big enough
copy.
printer to-
Yeah.
So if you mark it up with, I'm sorry, if you'll mark it up with colors and such, I'll take it into my office, I can scan it, and then we can make a smaller print and get it out to all of the
There you go.
commissioners,
Good.
so they can look at it on their laptop at the same time.
And you can do share screen on Zoom and show them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Alright,
okay, all right.
That's very cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
thank you.
That'll be good.
Thank you, John.
And would it still be worth asking any of the questions I had about the grant though, or?
Absolutely.
Do you want to ask them of us to practice or no?
No, I just had a couple of questions about the grant specifically.
Sure.
Oh, but, okay.
So like, one of them was like, what was like, who would the local project coordinator be with this kind of thing?
It's going to be you and Mr. Strong probably.
Sorry about that, I gotta get used to it. One of the things that you're gonna wanna do is take this up to the new town manager, okay? And discuss it with him, because he's gonna assign somebody as the project coordinator, I'm just an engineer, okay? I might be the project engineer on it, but I'm just the engineer. Project coordinator is gonna be the person who is gonna oversee that grant and oversee to make sure the project goes together. And they're gonna follow through with whoever it is that you're gonna get the grant from. And those emails are gonna fly back and forth. And that has to come from somebody that works within the town.
Yeah.
It may be Bobby, it may be Kathy, it may
Or
be.
maybe
Betty.
the new town commissioner himself,
Good,
or new town manager.
Manager, yeah, but that's gonna be his call.
Alright, and
Okay.
then, also,
I'll gladly sit down and walk you through this whole complicated process of how it all goes,
alright,
okay?
and I have like one more question mainly for you. Says, please explain the low impact development techniques incorporated in the proposed project. So,
Yeah, so we need to go, that process has to go through the feasibility study in order to determine if we have to treat stormwater management because of the area of disturbance. And if it does, then it may, bioswales and things like that, in order to lessen the impact because you're creating an impervious surface. So, how that all plays out, we won't know until we sit down with paper and pen and figure it all out.
alright, and that'll be it. My questions with the grant.
Perfect.
Did a great job, man.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
you're
Yeah,
very good.
absolutely.
Very well.
I think you've got a good idea going here.
And so, should I take this down or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna get it.
You're gonna give Mr. Strong anyway.
John, curiosity question, why are the commissioners virtual 2 weeks, if you know?
I don't know. Other than,
Because this presentation is would be so much better in person.
I just know that they're meeting virtually at the present time. And in fact, they encouraged all the boards to meet virtually at this point. Yeah.
Good enough, all right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Thank you again. Yep.
You're welcome. So let's see. Next item is park rules and regulations, and it's with respect to
Well,
farmers market.
Can I?
Do we have to recommend?
Yeah,
Oh,
don't we
shoot,
have to
that's right.
recommend that they,
Yes,
uh,
yes.
the
We may
commissioners,
make- yeah.
entertain the idea of expanding
Asking Mr. Strong, or John Strong, to review the feasibility of additional components added to the skate park. Something along those lines.
Yeah. So I make a motion that the Parks Board recommends to the commissioners to hear the proposal for the expansion of the skate park and to approve a feasibility study.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Questions, comments, et cetera? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Good, motion passes. Now I think you got the authorization you need, right, Gabe? So,
All right, my
Thank
friend, now
you.
you gotta get on that agenda.
Thank you.
Man, get with John to get you a copy of that so you can get
Yeah.
it nice and ready for a digital Zoom presentation.
All right, so skate park rules and regulations or park rules, excuse me, rules and regulations, farmers markets. We did not have a quorum last meeting, so we didn't really discuss this much, if at all. But I think what we were looking to try and do was to understand and create some rules around our understanding for what is a farmer's market. And like I said, we weren't all here, so we didn't really discuss it. I know that Montgomery County has some lengthy, but I think straightforward commentary and rules about what is a farmer's market and what is not. My guess is we would probably kind of follow their path because it's the best way to do it. We don't have to worry about anything new. We don't have to worry about discussing something that alrea's been discussed. It's there and ready to go. But I don't know.
Can I ask the question as a board, what's the impetus? Is there, the farmer's market are they doing something that we don't think should be done, or like, what is the?
Wasn't part of. Oops, I'm sorry. Wasn't part of it from like when it was originally started, where it was discussed as a farmer's thing, and then I think couple vendors showed up that weren't really they were selling merchandise that, I don't know what what would be one of the.
Shep or somebody was out there, right?
Pampered
Yeah,
chefs. So
yeah.
people coming in and not just selling produce.
No, it wasn't.
Someone
There
not
you go.
selling produce or vegetables, but now turning into, like a Tupperware party or whatever. So we were kind of looking for guidelines. We were talking about if we wanted to narrow that down
Right.
to what that includes. I mean, then can you have like crocheted baby stuff there or whatnot? What is a farmer's market?
And wasn't somebody selling some spirits out there also? Alcohol,
I don't know
if I'm
that.
not mistaken.
Oh, I think, yeah, I remember hearing that as well.
So just something to think about.
Yeah.
Spirits.
Well, we don't allow it other times, except for
Permanent events.
permitted events.
Did you want me to come forward and address any of that?
Sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
I wasn't sure at what point you needed input.
Hit your button.
They, hit the they're right in the center of the microphone, down the bottom there, you go.
There you go. Thank you.
Did you have a specific question, or?
Well, I guess, give us your name and address and.
Okay, so I'm Laurie Savage, and my address is 23301 Mount Ephraim Road, Dickerson.
Okay.
And Elise, also, she's the market manager, and she was unable to be here this evening. She injured her eye earlier this morning, so,
Ooh,
yeah. She'll be fine.
good. Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
She'll be fine. She's a tough girl.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I guess what questions
Yeah,
do
I
we
guess
have?
it's-
Yeah.
this, how do you select the vendors? How can people be a part of the farmer's market?
Okay, so.
Or groups be part of the farmer's market?
Well, a number of the vendors have been part of it through its many different iterations when it was run by Alicia earlier. So a lot of them have been a part of the market for some time now. But we do have an official application that people can reach out to us and complete. And the application does state that they need to be local, not local necessarily Poolsville residents, but local to the area, to the region.
From Montgomery County?
Yeah, if we can do that, definitely. And then they submit the application, and you all were mentioning that there were some craft vendors there. And if someone wants to come as an artist, an artisan, or a craftsperson, they have to make the item themselves. They can't be like Pampered Chef or something like that at this point.
Okay.
And a lot of farmers markets, really across the whole state, do have a mix of farmers and artisans, just to draw
Sure.
more people in, yeah.
So there is no Pampered Chef or any of that, so
No.
it's all artisans and produce and
And bakers, we have some
yeah,
bakers too, and a lot of the
yeah.
bakers use local product, like local eggs.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And was there
Were there
just local spirits being sold, or?
We do have one distiller,
Okay.
who is Twin Valley, and, to explain them a little bit more, our farm actually sells grain to Twin Valley. So they are a super local, distillery. They're the only distillery in Montgomery County.
Okay,
And they've been with the market since before Elise and I started. They contacted Alicia and set up the,
and originally the market, maybe not even originally, but it used to be at Owens Park, right? Or at some point it was over there?
I'm not sure if that was,
If that was the same, maybe different farmer?
yeah, I think
different-
that might
okay.
have been a little bit different. I
Okay.
think that the one that we're a part of used to be behind Bassett's. I think that's where that one originated.
Okay.
Originally, this, whatever it was, 2-3 years ago, it was a town-sponsored
Yes.
event.
Right.
And then, but it's broken off, it's into this now, which is,
Yeah.
Okay.
where they're controlling it, but it's not a town.
And so the process currently is they just submit a permit just like any other vendor or any other group using Wayland Commons, right? Okay.
Yeah. And the two, just to know I'm kind of, that permit asked the number of local participants. And if it's 20 or below, then you folks can submit an application directly into Kathy Buck. Preston, is that right?
Is it 20 or below?
It's 20 or below participants or for the event. Or if that's how many they're going to have, they can apply for the permit directly into Kathy.
Well, there's no way of,
Right.
there's no way of knowing how many people are gonna show up to a farmer's market
Understood,
beforehand.
except, but you gotta understand, there's gotta be more than 10 people there. Excuse me, 20 people, right?
Vendors, you mean?
All
Or
people.
who are
Yeah.
attending as well, okay.
Okay.
I think those vendors alone is going to be,
Right.
Close to 20, okay.
Our maximum number of vendors is probably 8 or 9.
and that's 1 or 2 person personal, correct?
Usually 1, sometimes 2, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, right there, they meet the minimum right there, just have.
Right, so that means it needs to come through us, that's really all it does. It means that we have to recommend that, yes, the permit be provided,
Okay.
even though there's 20-plus people, or whatever. The other exemption, I guess, that you would have to request would be the one with spirits, because the town properties and parks in particular do not allow any kind of alcoholic beverage, not even beer.
Okay, does that mean to sample or to sell or both? Sample and sell?
So both.
Okay.
All two, all three.
Unless it's a town-sponsored event, or if there's a
Right.
special,
But this is no longer a town-sponsored event.
right?
Well,
So-
they should be able to apply for a permit.
Yeah, special
And then
permit.
we either
That's
say
what I'm
yea
saying,
or
yeah.
nay,
Yeah.
and then it would go
Right.
on.
So
I'm
this
just-
is not something that Alicia had done before us?
Probably not, because I think it was still a town event.
No, this was like May or June of this year.
Okay, all right, so somebody I know, somebody in town hall, I think. It may have been as a result of less than 20, maybe not. But the distillers, I didn't know that there was a
And
distillery.
let's
Did
just
you
say
guys?
the past administration here, March, April time period,
Yeah.
whatever, there were some decisions made that would not hold water any longer. So that's why this
Right.
process
Okay.
is starting.
Or-
We have-
Okay.
We have
or-
somebody else in charge and things need
Okay.
to be done correctly.
Yeah.
Or if they were held water, which some of them do, the process by which we needed to follow our rules and regulations
Okay.
was not,
Circumvent,
didn't happen.
basically.
Okay.
So this is one of the other exceptions or requests you need to make of the commissioners, is to have a local distiller. This is what he or she will do, this is how much they have,
Okay.
cost, whatever the parameters are, all of it. You would first make that discussion and presentation to us, and then we would say, yes, this works. We'll go, move it up the agenda to the commissioners, just like we had April do. Or we say no, and then you have the opportunity to go to the commission and say, those guys are out of their minds. Well, we should have this.
Which we probably are if we don't
right.
support a local farmer market,
Right.
in my opinion.
But it's the process that we have to.
Proper process,
follow,
going through the
okay?
right channels.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing is, I don't know if you mentioned it already, Bobby was talking about insurance. Another question is, do they need to supply their own or?
For a farmer's market?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
We
application says that,
explored it and found that it was just going to be out of the realm of what we could afford as a market to carry it.
Did they
Based on what
even
our
sell
vendor fees?
farmer's markets insurance?
Yes, yeah. So what we did was ask each of our vendors to have their own insurance, and they have each done that and supplied us with a
What
copy.
kind of,
okay,
what are we insuring against?
Well, you figure if you're selling food products,
Yes.
there is, liabilities that go along with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or if you, your tent blows away and blows into the parking lot and hits a car or something.
So
Gotcha.
there is some questions that, they were put forward, and Bobby wanted me to express.
All right, so I'm just, every single food truck that we have out here during any of our events, are we double checking their insurance and making sure that they're covered?
Well, once again, if it's a town-sponsored event.
But if the town is, see, I would say if the town is sponsoring, then they should definitely be checking the insurance. This is a town-sponsored event. Or does our insurance cover it?
And I don't know. How's that? I don't know but I think they are required, those food trucks have to carry insurance anyways.
Okay.
Because I think just to hold their food permit, they have to have
Right.
insurance.
Right, but that's a commercial,
Is it- yeah.
there's a commercial purpose to it,
Yeah.
where I don't
Yeah.
necessarily, is
Montgomery
a
County
farmer's
Fair-
market considered a commercial?
Montgomery County and food services, they are very strict.
yeah.
And
Okay.
just to get your
Yeah.
permit, you have to go through so many steps
Yeah.
anyways. on
Yeah.
that. So, anyways, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be the downer, I'm just.
Honestly, I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here, because I find like,
I think
to me, it's almost a little bit like, why are we being so nitpicky about a farmer's market? If they fill out the permit and ask about the distillery, I think we should be able to say, okay, if they're carrying their own personal insurance, then,
Patrick, I think it goes back to last year and how things were handled.
Oh.
Okay.
Or not handled.
Okay.
That's what
Okay,
Preston
so now we're
basically
trying to
just
get back
said.
on track,
Real
make sure
strict
everything
rules.
is done
Montgomery
properly,
County.
so there's no
So-
questions. Basically, that's what it is now.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
Okay, we're just trying to get everything back where it should have
Yep.
been, because we got off track.
you had something to
say, Yeah.
Joe, sorry.
I don't think it's a matter of us not supporting the farmer's market, it's just making sure we're
Yeah.
doing our due diligence.
Yeah.
So we completely support that. I
100%.
think all of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were certainly aware of the insurance
Yeah.
issue ourselves, that's why we asked each vendor to have their own
Yeah,
insurance, so it's.
and so
something
you
that we're-
check that every week?
Well, if they have given us a copy of their policy.
Yeah, just curious how,
Yes.
if I was to be like, hey, what's the insurance look like?
So look at my book.
Okay, and then I think we had gotten some complaints, and this is where the pampered chef sort of comment is coming from. We had people questioning that, and so that's a non-issue. We had questions earlier in the year about COVID and how many people were crowding the stalls and whatnot. and
Yeah, I
that's
don't think
what-
there's any of that.
Yeah, I know, I've driven
Yeah.
by, I'm like,
We wish we had that problem.
but that's where a lot of this is coming from, so.
The chances of you catching COVID outside.
I know. But these are just the complaints that were.
And I also know
we've
that the state of
heard.
Maryland took extra steps to
Yeah.
be sure that farmers markets were
Yeah.
covered during COVID and
Yeah.
that they approved the operation of farmers markets in the same way a grocery store could.
So I think we're all super excited about the farmer's market. They might not say it quite that same way as I
Yeah,
do,
they're
but
fine.
No, I,
we're just trying to make sure we have our proper procedures in place. So you've done everything on your end. We just need to make sure that going forward, when we talk about this sort of stuff, we know about distilleries and that sort of
Okay,
stuff.
so back to that
Yeah.
issue, is there a permit to fill out, available to fill out for that?
I
or-
think we just it has to be on the actual permit.
yeah, it's gotta be on the permit somehow, and maybe in one of the comment fields, because I think there are a few that we could use. If not, let me know and we'll figure that out.
Let's see, I already did it online, so should I just go back and do it again and then add that, if I can find a place?
Oh, yeah,
I would
yeah,
add it, I would
yeah.
add it.
Yeah,
And
do
if
that.
anything, it will take it to the next discussion, through the chain.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We as a board need to say, where do we stand on number of participants, either vendors or otherwise, and distillery?
The more the merrier, and distillery, if it's local, then,
Well, whether they have it or not, that's what,
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
to say, if it's a local distillery that's using grain from a local farm.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they're properly permitted.
Yes,
Right.
and
absolutely,
all
yeah.
their stuff
Mhm.
and their insurance,
Yeah.
then I think if they, this is a vendor licensed to sell alcohol, then they should be. Yep. We should probably approve the
Right.
permit first. If it's just, Joe Schmo showing up with a bunch of bottles and trying to sell liquor, then that's a whole other story.
Right.
But this is an actual distiller with all the proper
Correct, yes,
state licensing, county licensing, everything,
yes.
right?
hmm
So do they have a tasting room or anything like that yet?
They do, yes, they have a
Okay.
bar.
So
Mhm.
they can sell at their tasting room?
Yes.
This is more, just, hey, we're here, we're local, we sell this down the road, you should come try our stuff,
Yeah.
buy a bottle here.
And
Yeah.
so are they just giving samples out? I couldn't go and buy myself a can of whatever they're selling.
They do samples and they
Okay.
also sell bottles.
Okay.
The samples they can only be like an ounce or something, it's a very small amount. And I
Okay.
think you can only do so many samples per person as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
So how would you do that?
Is this?
Monitor the people and the number?
I'm sure they do that, or they would
Okay.
risk losing
Right, I'm
them.
sorry, I said you, that's right,
License to sell alcohol,
Yeah,
they know-
it says,
Yeah.
yes.
Is it-
No, I,
So do we want to discuss this now or when the permit's edited? The distillery side of it, I guess is all I'm asking.
Yeah, I agree, yes. I don't wanna hold everybody up.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
the
an
one in
agent,
Shady
you know, hard
Grove, I
stuff
think.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, or not Shady Grove, Goody Drive? East
So
Goody.
Yes.
when is the next
Oh,
farmer's
yeah.
market?
Yeah.
Sunday.
It's every Sunday.
9 AM.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and you submit the permit every week? Or
No, they've asked for, kind of like the teams do. They asked
Yeah.
for, Sundays, March to December. I do think that they should renew or reapply every, I don't know, 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Or maybe at the start of each season?
Yeah.
yeah, maybe that, yeah.
Well, can
Just,
we,
you know.
do we have to, so,
We don't want to waste your time, but it's just nice to have the open conversation
Sure.
Yeah.
that we're having now.
yeah, so the farmer's market, I think should, I mean, you guys tell me what you think, but go on as done this Sunday, and then we'll continue to have the conversation.
Yeah, I think, and what, well, would we continue to have the conversation, or would we advise, the farmer's market to submit,
Continue as in, but supplement with it, you know how we're talking about
Right.
adding on.
Go in and do the permit
Add
again.
that,
and
you know what I'm saying,
see if
continue as is,
Okay.
submit it as soon as possible.
Yeah, resubmit the application with the distillery information on there.
Okay.
And you know, it would be nice if you had their licenses and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you have a, like, that would be, like, here's all their Maryland stuff that says
Right.
they're legal and can do this
No,
here.
that's a good idea.
That way,
It keeps the questioning down. If it's
Exactly.
there in front of you, you
exactly.
know, the powers to be.
And they have their insurance and all that good stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the biggest,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's, it. Whatever kind of response you get, my guess is that's gonna be one of the bigger ones, so.
Right.
And then just the 20 or more people. I don't think there's anything else that we would be concerned with, right? Or not concerned as much as having addressed in a manner that says we vetted it out and we're okay.
Yeah. No, I guess we're just, because of the number, I guess Doug's saying, is that it's town regs, whatever, that we should vet this and we should talk and we should have a back and forth conversation.
Okay.
I think that's why we're here tonight, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm doubtful that there's ever 20 people there at one time, but I'm sure over the entire period of the market.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and
Okay.
it's something to make sure we did what we needed to do. I agree, I understand. I don't, you know, you get up to 20 people, great. You get up to 50 people, even more, great, you know, but
just out of curiosity, where is Twin Valley and what type of spirits do they sell?
They are located in Rockville.
Okay.
And again, I mentioned there that they're the only distillery in Montgomery County.
Uh-huh.
And they do, probably their biggest product is bourbon
Gin.
whiskey.
Oh, bro, okay. Cool.
he'll be up there at 9 o'clock already to go.
They actually,
Example.
I haven't been in the liquor store for a while, but the last time I was there, they had some of it in there. So if you would like to sample it, you can pick it up there.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're in the county liquor store, they're legal.
Okay, so are we square up here, everybody? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
All right, to the board, do you want to make some sort of a recommendation now, or do you want to wait until after an amended permit's been filed?
I should get his file, and then that will lead to the next.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and then the next, we could take a look at it the next, October meeting, I guess, at this point.
Yep.
And then, you know,
I mean,
Like
we're
I
saying
said-
continue as.
if we're following it, if you're following it the way you described to me, I don't think,
No
No,
problem.
Yeah.
no,
But we just gotta do the proper steps. That's where we're
Yep.
at. That's where we're at.
okay.
We're gonna see you every month, Lori. I'm just kidding. We enjoyed your company.
She just said she's gonna come back at the beginning of the season, so.
yeah, well,
Just to.
I think you just want me to bring samples from the market.
Yeah, that's Twin Valley samples.
Everybody say aye. Thank you.
All righty then, we'll look,
Thank you.
we'll look forward to our next meeting, because we should clean everything up by then.
Okay.
Oh, wait, will we? No, we'll see your permit, we will recommend an exception.
but we can always go look and see what Montgomery County's doing,
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side.
Oh, yeah, but I don't want to, I mean, at the rate we're,
We're not halting, we're not saying.
right, I
stop.
don't want
we're
to,
not-
yeah, I want to make sure that doesn't happen, because I don't think that's
No,
warranted
but I mean,
at this time.
this is a conversation, especially since their season's almost over, that
Yeah.
we can do over the winter time, and so that we can.
And really get it
Yeah,
worked
sure.
out, yep.
Yep.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you very much.
so
Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate
Thank you for your support.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Hope, what was her name? Her eyes okay?
Elise.
Elise, yeah, hopefully her eyes fine.
all right, so the next item, I'm writing my own notes down here, let's see. I guess, dog park rules and regulations, we haven't done that yet, right?
Our friends are back. I haven't seen
Oh,
you
wait.
in so long. Oh, come on, we missed that.
I didn't, write anything down, so.
Guys,
I mean, these are all new business things
Yeah.
anyway, so we
Yeah,
don't need
so you
to
want-
really make
Yeah.
motions on them or.
yeah.
There's a few
Just
ago,
a
we'll see,
discussion.
yeah, yeah.
So we hit the dog park.
Yes, since
Okay.
you guys are here. You know, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and
Come on up to the table.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on up to the table.
Come on up, come on up.
Good to see you guys again.
Yeah,
It's been a
just-
while.
Yeah, how you guys been?
All right, how you guys been?
Yeah,
In these fun times, right?
exactly.
Kevin Rayner and Michelle Riley, 17108 Hughes Road.
Yeah, so we saw this agenda item on the agenda, but we weren't the ones that put it there, so we're not sure why it was on the agenda. We just came.
See, I love it. This thing is their baby
Proactive.
from start to finish. It's all.
So why is it on the
I
agenda?
was
What
actually
has been
hoping to
proposed?
see you.
What?
He was hoping to see you.
Is there?
Go ahead.
See both of you.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Okay.
So there was an incident
Yes,
at the
there was.
dog park where I believe one dog injured another dog and potentially an owner,
That's
if
correct.
I'm not mistaken. And the first thing I thought of when we put this together was this is a self-regulated
Correct.
place, and that any disputes like this that were to come up were to be handled between owner and owner and go from there. I heard there was talk of somebody banning somebody from the dog park and this and that, like as if they're the appointed dog park police.
Correct.
One of our favorite people that we see often in here.
And we got complaints about him telling people not to come in, by the way. He's told people you can't come in.
Which is
And you
absolutely,
Too many dogs. That's not his job.
No,
It has nothing to do with
yeah. Yeah, but that's a citizen that there's
we
only
know
so
who
much we can do there.
We know who
Yeah, I know
he
he
is.
is,
We were
yeah.
expecting to see him here tonight, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so anyway, if you can refresh my memory at least on how why we had come up with those rules and
Sure.
why it works that way the best.
Of course. Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. This was a multi-year effort, I'm sure you guys all remember. And we, all of us collectively, and commissioners included, made sure that the town was not liable for any kind of situation or incident like this. So, that was instituted from the very beginning. The dog park rules are posted on the gate as you enter. They do say use at your own risk. They do say owners are responsible or liable for their own dog's behavior. So you're absolutely correct that is the case. That is how we set it up. We have also heard talk of a particular type of ban. So that's what we came prepared to speak about today. But we were expecting the person who this happened to be here first to actually propose that. So how did this end up on the agenda in the first place, and what can we, I have things to say, but what?
I got you.
He requested it.
Well, no. Back
No,
up,
did he
back up.
request?
Commissioner requested.
A commissioner heard about the incident,
Heard about it.
wanted to take action. The commissioner was informed. Parks Board, their purview, whatever.
Well, there's
Okay.
Let's
also.
talk
there's
about
also-
it some. Let's see.
There's also the fact that my understanding is that the police were called,
Correct.
and once that happens, it's a totally different game.
Yeah.
And that's what
But still
happened.
should-
Well, wait, why though? Because it's still a dispute between two citizens. It has nothing to do with the town or
No,
the
that's what I
park.
said.
Back up to,
Agree.
it made the
It has nothing
agenda
to do with the
because the
town.
commissioner
Yeah.
asked us to review the rules, to make sure the town is covered, that we had done signed everything.
There was also
everything that we had
proposals
done,
to adopt
whatever it was,
different
5
rules
years
too,
ago.
and we should do something, and this, and that. I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
What were those proposals, what new?
It was to
No.
look at, there was no actual legit proposals made, but to review and to, think about how we can stop this in the
Just try to
future.
prevent it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was more like, how do we get ahead, like, not get ahead of this, but how do we make sure this doesn't happen in the future? And my comment to that is, we can't.
Right.
No,
It's
you're right.
animals.
There was chatter about banning a certain breed of dog.
Correct. And
That
that's
was
what
on
we're here to
Facebook.
speak
Yeah,
about today.
That was Facebook.
But that's
chatter.
Facebook, and that was all Facebook, all that.
That's
That
correct.
was a lot of nonsense on Facebook.
That's correct.
This came from a commissioner saying, hey, can we just check the rules and regulations? It wasn't like ban this breed of dog,
Okay.
brand.
That's
This
good to hear.
wasn't even the individual coming to say that. So
Okay.
really, it's just like, let's look at, to me, I took it as, let's look at where the guidelines are.
Right,
And
yeah.
then that's it. I wasn't here when the dog park, obviously, was put in
Yes,
place.
it's nice to meet you. We haven't
Yeah.
seen
I'm
you
Gail, how are
before.
you?
Nice
I
to
have
see
brought
you.
my dogs to the dog park, but my dog's a jerk, so I don't bring my dog to the dog. One of them. But, I love the dog park, so,
So, yeah, so my take on it is we just review the rules.
yeah.
And, I mean, I looked at them last week and a half ago, and my
Yeah, we
only,
have we took a
thought
picture of
maybe
them last night.
is the age. You know, the minimum age.
Yes, I think the age
That-
should be
that was-
looked
so
at.
I
Actually,
looked at other county parks, I looked at, different ones in other states, and maybe, I mean, and that's what I'm saying, maybe this is something we just work over or look at.
Are
Over the
you
next-
talking-
this will be- The minimum age for a
It's
handler to
13.
come into the park.
yeah.
So there,
So-
Age 13.
Yeah, so there's two things, so, but,
we weren't there when the incident happened, so everything we've heard is.
Hearsay.
Second.
Hearsay.
That horrible
What
face.
we've heard is
So-
that the person who brought the attacking dog was a teenager. We're not sure. I don't think they were younger than 13, but maybe they were 15 or 16. I don't know, but
nobody knows that,
Right.
right?
whether or not they could control their dog, it doesn't matter. You could be a 35-year-old small person with a 90-pound dog and not be able to control it. So that's
Right.
that. But anyways, do you want me to just read through the rules
Yeah,
that are
read-
posted right now?
Read the rules. That's a good idea.
So, number one, no aggressive behavior. No female dogs in heat, no glass or metal containers, no pet handlers under age 13. Dogs must be over 4 months old. No more than 3 dogs per handler. No smoking or eating by dog handlers. Parents must be in control of their children. Dog handlers must pick up after their dogs. Dogs must display current licenses and rabies vaccination tags. Dog handlers must be in control and in visual contact with their dogs at all times. Users of the dog park do so at their own risk. Dog owners are liable for any injuries or damage caused by their dog. Hours of dog park are the same as the remainder of the park. No professional dog training allowed. Dog handlers must leash their dogs when outside the park. Dogs may not be left unattended. Dogs must be current on standard vaccination, including rabies. Dogs must be on flea tick protection. Dogs must have active parasite control. No dog toys or food allowed inside the park. Emergency help, dial 911. All non-emergency, dangerous, vicious dog problems, contact Montgomery County Police.
Well, these, you all took a picture, there's two signs up there.
We covered
I-
all the things.
I'm trying to figure out why or how did we ever get the two signs?
I think.
When
I actually
some of them
remember
are
that.
duplicative.
I remember that. Yeah, there were the original sign. So we were involved in the rule setting, and that original sign I think was made perhaps either before we had input or before there was a consensus on what all the rules should be. And there were some things that were left off of that, and so that additional one was added about the parasite prevention and the being up to date on vaccines and stuff like that. But the key ones that are important here is no aggressive dogs are allowed in the park. That
Right.
rule was broken. There's no question about that. The other thing I think that would be worth considering is perhaps raising the age limit. We weren't at the event, we weren't there. There's no question that this was a horrific incident for all involved. We're very sorry that happened. And, for sure, there's no question that this absolutely was a dangerous dog that had no business in the dog park. If there were children that were in control of this dog, personally, I think 13 is too young. So I would consider raising that. One other thing that I think we may want to consider that I actually thought was on the sign, and I was surprised to find that wasn't on the sign, was one thing that we did make clear in the beginning, and at least put like on our website and stuff when we were in the middle of doing all of this, is that large dogs are not permitted in the small dog side. So as you guys know, there's two sides, right? Large dogs, small dogs. So large dogs are only allowed in the large dog side. Small dogs can be in either side, depending on the owner's comfort level of their small dog's ability to be in the large dog's side. So from what I have been told, and I did speak with the individual directly whose dog was attacked, what I have been told is that this event took place on the small dog's side. So that dog entering the small dog side, being a large dog, should not have been allowed into the dog. So if I was there, I would have gotten up and stood by the fence of the small dog side, and as soon as that person stepped into the airlock, if they tried to come to the small dog side, I would have said, actually, this is the small dog side, that's a large dog, you need to go on the large dog side.
Right.
If that had happened, I think this incident may have actually been avoided.
Sure.
So I think that's something that would be
But I
worth
think it's
adding.
13, like, is that?
13 is what it is now.
But is that, it is not about the size of the person, because I've seen some giant 13-year-olds, but I think it's about the judgment
Correct.
of the person, not
Yeah.
necessarily the age.
Correct. So there was talk about 16, there was talk about 18. I mean, 18, you're an adult. So, I mean, if we're gonna raise it, I would raise it to 18. Up to you guys. I will say, that I am strongly opposed to a ban of any particular type of breed.
I agree.
And
All
I
dogs
have
are,
a
can
lot
be
of
sweet as
information
long
I
as
could
they,
give you.
no,
Okay.
we all agree with you there. You
Okay.
can't ban us, trust me, we
Can I
know.
ask you one question? Because I mean,
Sure.
you guys have more experience being there.
Sure.
Whoops. People on cell phones. I mean, you see it everywhere, you know, are people standing around in the dog park on their cell phone, not paying attention to their dogs? I guess it's just a.
To be honest-
I'm just wondering. Well, talking to each other, or, yeah, just not paying attention.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we actually don't use the dog park as often as we did in the beginning. There's a couple reasons for that. When we first started using the dog park, we have 2 small pugs. Both of our dogs were completely fine, had no problem with it. And there is a rule that says no toys in the park because some dogs can be aggressive over their toys. Well, at some point, toys started getting initiated, being used at the park. We determined that one of our dogs was a bit territorial about toys. And so we, as responsible pet owners, were uncomfortable bringing our dog into a situation when other dogs were there, toys were being used. We wanted to prevent the possibility of him causing some kind of incident. So we, and the other dog that we have, she likes to play rough, and she actually injured her knee and had to have knee surgery, not necessarily at the dog park. We don't know where the incident happened. It wasn't a simple thing where she screamed out in pain or anything. She just, all of a sudden one day she started limping and she had to have surgery. So she can't play rough, and so we typically, when we use the park, we use it when nobody else is there. So we can't speak to whether or not people are on cell phones. I've seen chatter on Facebook about, we are the admins of the Facebook page. So we have seen chatter about people being on their phones, not paying attention, not picking up after their dogs. I mean, that typical type of stuff that you see. So whether or not people are on their phones all the time, I can't give you an in-person answer to whether or not that happens because I'm not there frequently enough or there when other people are there because of the behavior of my own dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, so that was just my, I'd seen the same comments, you know, where people say.
My guess
people aren't
is
paying
it's the
attention to their
80-20
dogs.
rule. 80% of the people are doing just what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
taking care of the dog, and then there's 20% of the people that aren't. And there's no rule, regulation, anything that we can do to change that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do think the
The honor
age.
system, right?
Yeah. I do think the age thing should be taken a look
And
at.
I think another thing I don't believe we have, because what's a large dog, what's a small dog? Let me go here, it's like, a Great Dane
Sure.
is a giant dog, but compared to a 60-pound lab or something like that, now that puts that in a small class.
Sure.
But in actuality, that's a pretty solid dog.
Right.
And I do not believe we actually have anything on the fence designating a weight size.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
So
typically,
do we,
Yeah.
I don't think.
no, it's not
No,
on the
I think we
sign.
should, if we're gonna designate
The
a
weight,
small size.
Yeah.
Where's our weight line at? You know what I'm saying? It's like, to me.
Yeah.
This is a giant dog, this is
I
a
agree
small
with
dog.
that. Great point. Great point.
yeah,
So we need to get some feedback on.
Absolutely.
Let's say, what is the cutoff for small dogs.
Versus
That's
large,
where,
yeah.
that's
I
what
mean,
we
my-
need to know. What would you know, is it a
It's
20
probably in the
pound?
30, 40 pound range.
Uh-huh.
I'd get an expert on that from a veterinarian or
But if you
know.
can find out, or somebody get us that information,
Sure,
where is that
I
nice
could find
line
that out.
at? And,
Yeah.
and I think that'd be a starting point to help control.
Yeah.
Because once again, you like, Terry's got a blue shirt on, and somebody's gonna say, well, that's actually a teal shirt. I'm just
Which it
saying-
actually is.
Oh,
I'm just saying,
absolutely.
So
No.
my interpretation of a big dog is
Absolutely.
totally different than some, but I think we need to have a set number. When you guys agree?
I agree. So I think we,
Like you said, it's up to the small dog owner if they want to bring them over to large.
Yes, but you say no larger, and then the big one, it's just big dog, and, there's no weight limit. So if you choose to enter in that is your choice.
I'm
But
hesitant to
that
say.
small one, we need to designate a weight.
A weight limit.
I
I
agree.
agree.
So I think, so we're to the point where we need to raise the age. I'm hesitant to say 18 because there's plenty of responsible 16-year-olds,
Yeah.
but
Sure,
I do
16.
understand, I
Yeah.
do understand the adult thing.
Sure.
So I'll leave that up to you guys.
And see,
Um,
that's one of those things, well, a lot of parents are like, hey, take the dog down.
Yeah.
To,
Right, which shouldn't
To the park.
be, yeah.
yeah.
I'm with you. I don't bring my dog because one of them is more aggressive than the other.
Yeah.
Do I think she'd do anything? No, but I don't want to take that chance.
Right.
But I would not let my children, who are 13 is my oldest, I would not let them bring the dogs to the dog park, even at 16, for the sake that I wouldn't want them to be in that experience that happened recently. I wouldn't want them to be responsible for that for someone else's dog. So
But
for
once
me,
you-
it's,
kind of a fun, I'm gonna say, when I
Yeah.
was 16, I was running field trials with labs.
well, you're
I
just
handled
the
them.
man. No, I'm just kidding.
But once again, it goes back to experience.
Right.
And with, there's some young people, and if you can drive a vehicle, I mean, that's a big responsibility. Handling a 18, I think it takes it to a different level.
Yeah.
But 13, yes, we are in a
Yeah.
kind of a gray zone. There's 13, old kids that could do, but in general, making the decision on it. So I
Right.
could see a
It's
bump
the
on it. But 18, I
decision-making
think, is a little.
factor.
What's that?
It's the capability of the decision-making factor
Yeah.
and the quick thinking
Yeah.
of how to respond if
And once
something.
again, if you're 16 and driving a vehicle, you should have that.
That's true.
Making the decision, because you are driving and
Correct.
stuff like that.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
I don't
so,
remember how we came up with 13. It might have just been.
I don't know.
Another
I don't know.
park in
Yeah, I
Montgomery
don't know
County
that
had
either. That
so
was-
we
yeah.
just
Now, Jeff,
followed
you
it.
said you looked into other municipalities. What did you see?
What's up? Whoops, oh, so that's what I say, I'm thinking, let's, over the next month, let's do the age thing, let's look up the,
I think
The weight?
the two concrete things we have.
Age and weight.
We need to,
Age of the
need to
handler.
adjust the age, make sure we indicate on the sign that big dogs are not allowed in the small dog area, and then define the weight categories.
Right.
Those three things, I think, solve a lot of problems.
Agree.
Well, and let me say, this dog park was built when?
16.
5 years, we've had one incident? In
Correct.
5 years is
Yeah.
pretty darn good.
Agree.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
we make a small adjustments, maybe we can stay
I
that off
think
for
we
another
can.
5 years.
And-
But it's gonna happen.
Another thing I was thinking about, but I don't know if the thing is actually identifying an aggressive dog and have a way to report it, so after several incidents, maybe something can be done about
But
it.
who are we reporting it to? That's,
Right,
we're
that's
not
when you
gonna
come
I'm
be.
saying,
into the-
I'm
that's when you get
I was
into
just
the-
thinking out, because there are people that show up and they are aggressive dog, and actually, there's people that lead to issues too,
Yep.
Yeah.
that should be really
The other-
checked somehow.
It's really if you're in the dog park and there's, 5 or 6 other dogs, and you see a dog coming that you're never seen before or unsure of, if you don't think your dog's gonna react well to him, you gotta take yourself out of the situation.
And that's
So-
where the decision making and the age comes into play.
Right.
But I guess
The wherewithal.
part of what I heard though as well is that these people, whoever had the dog, they've had that dog at the park before. And it
really?
hasn't, at least that's what I had heard.
Yes, I heard the same thing.
I
I
And,
wasn't
and,
aware
and
of
it
that.
hadn't been an issue,
Yeah, and you hear
so,
a
so
lot
you
of
don't
it.
know.
A lot of stories.
Yeah.
A lot. And also I heard
Right.
that the dog that was, say they were their aggressor, is that the other dogs ran up on it.
Really?
See, we
Yes.
need to talk to someone besides the person who was attacked. I
You
think.
have to get, there's
Yeah.
more
You're not
than
getting
one
the full
side,
story.
there's more than one side.
Yeah.
And I believe I know the group of dogs that, the one that got attacked, and if you've ever been in there, they do, even though they're good spirited, they will close the distance on other dogs awful quick. And you know,
Yes.
some dogs do not like, they could be nicest dog in the
Especially
world.
when dogs first enter the park, that's when all the dogs want to converge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and some dogs don't handle the hard charge. But anyway, once again, though, it's that balance act on, because, you know, they say you should wait, let them come up to the fence, meet and greet, then go through.
What
And I don't know if they
surprised me
follow
was
that.
He's not a shy person, and if he saw a certain type of dog, because we heard that he was leashed his dog and was about to leave. And it's like, if you see a dog coming and you start getting your dogs ready, just ask them to wait until you leave, and then everything's on a leash when they cross paths, and then it's no problem, but.
Yeah, there's no question that I think this incident could have been avoided. I mean, you know, again, we weren't there, we're hearing secondhand
Yeah,
accounts.
all the way around.
I have spoken directly to the dog owner who was attacked.
Right.
We all know.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been able to get in touch with other people who may have been there. Comments were exploding on Facebook to the point where I actually paused the entire group for about a week and a half.
Facebook
just
is a cesspool.
to shut it down, because
Yeah,
it was just,
yeah.
comments were just being reported constantly. We're the only two admins, and we both have full-time jobs, and it was like, this is getting to a point where like, we need to cut this off, and
Yeah.
we just paused the page, so people just stopped.
Yeah,
And-
Facebook has,
It was ugly,
when you look at the good applications, it's like this. When you look at the negative, it's like this.
right?
And I mean, people say and do things on Facebook that they would never do to somebody's face. and,
Agree.
So I think that's probably the best move, shutting it down.
Yeah, I would.
That's the only thing I- yeah.
I stopped up there today at the dog park as well. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna, back up there maybe a week or so, a week and a half, whatever. But it was, it was pretty dirty and unorganized. And, you know, there's a dog toy and a special shelf has been built into or added to the screen to the door.
Yeah.
We did that? No, we didn't, yeah. And there's a toy up there, and you look, there's 5-gallon water jugs just spread all over the place, half full, half not. You don't know who or how or what brought them there. I think one of the things that we did get from our research and talking to Dr. E was that there was a situation with sharing water that was a
Correct.
problem. And it's
Yes,
it's
so
there.
I have actually
So-
long disagreed with the person bringing the gallons of water
Right.
and leaving there. When the times that we've gone, that has happened too. The person that brings that water is the same person.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
surprised.
Yes. So,
So why don't we just, when the water shows up, why don't we just pick up the water and say, we're gonna tell you again, you can't bring the water in.
that's what
Yeah.
we
Well,
do. When we've gone to the park and we've seen, and he will actually complain, I'm the only one that brings water, nobody else brings water.
I don't care.
I disagree with
Yeah.
water being brought in the first place,
Right.
because when we show up and there's 5 bowls of water that have been sitting out, we don't know how long they've been there,
Yeah.
we don't know who's been drinking out of them, and Dr. Egg's absolutely right, there are parasites and
In
things
each
that-
individual
that
dog. That's why we
grow-
shouldn't drink after
well,
each
that
other.
also grow in sitting water.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So we bring our own water and we dump
And our
all
own-
those water
we
bowls
bring our own
out.
bowls too.
If we'll bring our own
Not
bowls.
everybody's gonna do that.
Yeah.
So bringing water, in my opinion, you know, by some people is seen as like this great, thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing this. In actuality, it shouldn't be happening.
Right.
It's why-
Toys also shouldn't be happening, but that's also happening. So, I mean, we never,
So I think somebody's treating it like their own personal dog area and
there's
not,
also agility equipment that's being set up.
yeah, that is not the purpose of the dog
Exact-
park.
Agree.
That we're talking about. You know why there's a big no smoking sign? I had to put a big no smoking sign
I saw
up
it got
because
added,
the person was, 3 times. Do not smoke, go back, do not smoke, go back, then I put a big sign.
Yeah.
I had to do that, because the rules are there, you have to follow them, especially if you would press rules.
Is there a no
you
water,
better follow
is there a no water sign on the,
No,
add that to the,
It's probably added to the list of things.
that's a health issue.
You have to let people bring water for their
It
dogs,
says no outside food.
but you shouldn't be.
Oh, then
We
that's
talked
it.
about having like a fountain, and besides the fact that there's no pipes, Dr. Reed suggested against that because of.
Yeah, a drip line.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Well,
It's
there's-
tricky, because you don't want dogs to overheat and get heat stroke in this weather.
Right.
But not everybody brings.
Should be sharing.
Bowls and waters with them to the.
Right.
Right, so the
Dog
person
park.
that's doing this has good intentions, right? I mean, there's good intention there of bringing water for people that don't bring their own water.
Right.
But in actuality, it's a health risk, because dogs can get sick from standing water, from sharing water. So like I said, when we go, we dump those out, we bring our own water, our own bowl,
If I take my
that's
dog
that.
for, my dog passed, but if I took my dog for a walk in the heat, I always bring a little bit of water in a bowl and just.
But all
Right.
all of this makes sense, perfect sense, but if we're not gonna police it for aggressive dogs, we're also not in the position of policing for water,
you're
toys,
right.
all
Well,
of that.
right, because
I mean,
it
I get
comes
what
down
you're
to a
saying.
staffing
Now,
issue.
with the water,
But-
what we can do, because every day my crew goes in that park, picks up trash.
Guys, I hate
And
to
I
do
can,
this.
I
have
can
to
tell
run and
them,
grab my
say,
daughter.
any
Okay.
bottle
Are
for
you coming back
that,
or
it
no?
needs to be removed.
Okay.
We
I
can't
won't
take
be
it to a
back,
step.
Okay, don't worry about it, we got enough.
But we're
and,
splitting
you know, we may
hairs
not-
a little
we may only be
bit
Yeah.
discussing
in
about
the
it.
sense, in the sense that these are our
good to see
guidelines.
you.
We've already stated from the beginning that
Thank you.
people are using it at
Thank
their
you.
own risk. People are, by Patrick, people are using this at their own risk. We've already stated this is what we're gonna go with. So I don't think we should get into business. I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. But we can't get into business of this individual, that individual, because I can go through all these rules and know that they're
Agree.
being broken, a
Sure.
lot of them. So what we're really talking about, I think, is addressing the size, small, what is small dog, and addressing the age limit for dog handlers. All of this other stuff, it's a nuisance, but we're using it
Right.
at our own risk, is the
Right.
bottom line.
I agree,
Sorry.
no, I completely agree with you, and it comes down to a staffing and an enforcement issue.
Yeah.
I mean, in the same way that you can't, police an aggressive dog, you can't police someone from bringing water for everybody, you can't police
People who aren't
toys from
cleaning
coming
up
in.
their poo.
Right, I mean, because then you're talking about hiring a staff member
Yeah.
to basically
Right,
stand at the gate and say, you can't have that, you can't have that. You don't have the money for that, right?
No.
So this is a use at your own risk, just like every other, the
There was-
skate park,
In the
playground.
beginning, we talked about putting a lock on it, but we wanted to let people use it even if they're visiting pools.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
It was not.
Right, 'cause it brings in
membership
business.
Thing that was.
And it has been really
So
well
popular.
received. There's
Yeah.
people up there all the time.
Yep.
It's really been a great addition
It really
to
is.
the town. And like I said, just a little bit of tweaking with
Yep.
the age and a little bit with the, I think we need to come up with a weight side. I think that will help quite a bit.
Agree.
With that.
With the knowledge that people are still gonna break the
They
rule.
are.
Sure.
They are.
You
Not
know,
that
let
that's-
me, I know we're talking about, is it something that we could put up that would say, more of an informative statement, infomercial type thing, whatever, that, the risks of sharing water?
Like a PSA.
Or
Sure.
this or that, and put it up somewhere. I mean, if I'd never used the dog park, if I'd never talked to Dr. E, I would have thought sharing water is fine for dogs. I see my friends do dogs, they do it all the time.
Sure.
I never would have known. So maybe it's just an education thing, and presumably that takes up care of one of my, gripes right now with respect to, it looks messy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing that I was gonna suggest, if a ban was proposed tonight, I'm glad to see that that's off the table, but was more of an education campaign of, so elevating, responsible dog ownership more, providing resources for people, just getting the rules out there more about what's acceptable, what's not, right? Because we had, the website, when we were in the middle of getting this, installed, we were pushing it hard, and, I mean, we could state the rules, we're the admins of the page, so we could put on the page, some kind of announcement or state rules there,
Right.
educate people that way. There's like 500 or so people, I think, that are in that group. So, that may be a place, people comment there about, I'm bringing my dogs, anyone want to come play,
Birthday parties.
that kind of thing. Like, so, that may be a place where we do this type of education campaign, where we do some kind of little PSA or just a statement of,
Yeah.
conduct or, resources for people, things like that. I think that may help, because I agree. I mean, it's a great asset to the town. People really love it. I'd hate to see it go downhill because
Yeah.
of this.
I
So,
mean, one thing that, I don't know where the pipes are, but you have a kid's playground right next to it and a skate park. And the skate park, those kids are gonna get hot and sweaty and need water. They have to, everyone that comes to any of the 3 parks has to bring their own water. If there was a drinking fountain near the 3 parks, then all you have to do is bring an empty bowl. You don't have to worry about grabbing a gallon of water for your dog.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial proposal, discussed a potential
We don't want
water feature.
Not inside
and-
the park.
But we decided against it for the cost factor and also because of
Yeah.
Dr. Eek's
Just some
recommendation.
sort of fill-up
Yeah.
station, so you.
But,
Doesn't COVID impact that now too?
yeah,
You can't
good
have- you can't have
call.
a-
You can't even use
Yeah, you
drinking
can't have a
Yeah,
drinking fountain.
yeah, good point.
So,
And we pick up plenty of McDonald's cups.
So I'll get back to, how about we look at,
That's where they get their.
over the next couple weeks, large versus small and age of handler as our
That'd be the start.
two issues, and then,
Sure.
and then we could do, like you said, an education type thing, and
Sure.
even Town of Poolsville Facebook page could post something, hey,
That'd be
just
great.
a reminder, here, these are the dog park rules, kind of thing.
That'd be great. What would you like us to do over the next month, before the next meeting?
Maybe help us with the research with the age.
Yeah.
Local
Okay.
municipalities would be fantastic.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. And the weight. Once again, I'm not,
Yeah.
okay.
if you could find somebody that has.
Age and
actually-
weight.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
Okay.
know when I was looking,
All
the age varies,
Yeah.
state to state, park to park, that
Right.
kind of thing.
30, 40, 50-pound range.
Okay.
That's-
Well, you all know,
It's a
you
lot
brought
of
up Dr.
money.
Eek, you all know and respect him. I'm sure
Oh,
he
yeah.
would be able to help us with the
suggestion.
weight suggestion.
Yeah.
I actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but this is my arena. I work at a well-known large national animal welfare nonprofit, so I have plenty of experts within my own organization that could help advise us on this as well, in terms of, the age limit thing with, being able to responsibly care for a dog. We may also have recommendations on weight classifications as well. So I
That'd
have
be
plenty
great.
of experts at my disposal to help with
Yeah.
this, no problem.
Yeah.
What
I
was
really
that?
appreciate you guys,
At your disposal. I'm just kidding.
I really appreciate you
At
guys
your
coming up too.
disposal, I
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad that it didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to,
Yeah, right.
right?
yeah,
This
we are too.
conversation.
We were fully expecting a proposal of a ban to get put on the table tonight, so we.
I spoke with him as well.
I was
And-
worried
and,
about it too.
I even told him, I said, this meeting here, we're probably not, I didn't think we would, make decisions. Yes, we may come up with proposals and things to research and that kind of thing. So I think, it could be also that, in your Facebook thing and in the town, we can say, hey, next month, we're going to be discussing potential, rule changes, and I'm sure other people may show up as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, but to be clear, a ban on a specific breed.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, no
Yeah,
way.
no, that's-
Yeah,
Right.
no. I mean, you've
Okay.
got,
So we're just
and you've got
talking
mixed
about
dogs and, the only thing that we're considering on the table right now are the two things we
Age.
talked about.
Okay, great to hear, guys.
But I just want to, just want to open it up, to, let people know that, hey, we didn't just make these decisions. Obviously it's on the agenda and you guys saw it, but
We did, we saw the agenda and that's why we came.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sure.
you guys have always
Yeah.
been great too.
Thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely, yeah.
Great
You guys
work.
have as well. We were happy to see that you are all still on the board. So and it's nice
Doug
to
and I
meet
were there
you,
for the
Gail.
opening.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, you and I were there for the opening of the
That's
park.
right, we were, yeah.
Yes, our picture is on all of our,
It's on the
it's all on the
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
From the ribbon cutting, we never changed
Yeah,
it.
the grass is held up very well.
Yeah, the grass and,
So we resodded it
Yeah.
once, and then that helped, and you try to keep the trees back, there's plenty of light in there and everything.
It's great.
Like I said, it's like the skateboard park, it truly has become a center of activity in town.
Yeah.
And the dog park really has done well with it. And one incident, let's not tarnish
Yeah,
it, because
yeah.
in general, it's
Agreed.
been a great thing. And we just need to tighten it up a little bit in there and just make sure that, we are the ones setting the rules and not an individual is
Correct.
setting the rules.
Yep.
Basically, that's what
couldn't agree
we
with
need
you
to
more,
do.
Preston.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Okay,
Alrighty.
well, we have our marching order, so we'll be back next month and, we'll do that research you asked us and,
Thank
bring
you.
it to you next month.
Great, thank you
Right.
very much, appreciate
Great,
that.
thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, so take care of that. Where are we at? American Legion process done, cross. Yeah, no problem,
You
yeah.
guys, I'll see you next month. Thank you.
Good night.
Oh, will it be virtual? I heard the mention of next meetings starting to become virtual. Is that?
Depends on the
I,
commissioners.
yeah,
So-
the commissioners might have a lead on that. I don't, you know.
So right now, there was guidance that was sent out that meetings should be virtual,
Okay,
okay? But that doesn't mean that they will be virtual.
okay.
So, it was a recommendation by the current town manager. Okay?
Okay. All right, good to know, so we'll just watch out for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks, you too. Crosswalk and ADA curb crossing, Dr. Walling Road between Selby Avenue and Burner Way.
Okay, can I give you a rundown on where we are with these things?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, we need for me to do my job, I need a recommendation from this board to be given to the commissioners to go ahead and look at putting in a crosswalk at, Dr. Walling and Selby Avenue.
But I looked at that today, and I don't see any problem with what we have. It goes, at Selby, you come down to I think so, you come down, no, sorry, you're coming down Dr. Walling, and you run into, you don't run into,
So where the trail crossing is.
There's nothing, it just dead ends to a curb. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So they'd like to have a ADA there so people can enter the path that takes them across the wooden bridge.
What
And
am I-
there's nothing-
okay, so where's the wooden bridge that I'm not looking at?
I'm at the wrong end with Dr. Walling and Selby.
It's
Yeah.
mid-block.
Yeah, it's the,
Where Dr.
Where
Walling,
the pond
Dr.
is.
Walling come back in? Way down the other end.
Okay.
Way down there.
Back this way, go this way. There's a path, right there's the path they're talking about right there.
That's correct.
You know where Pike lives? That ends up, that's the path that goes to Pike's house.
but it's not the Pike side, it's the other side.
That's correct.
So how come I know, guys?
I got you. Well, no, they were just saying.
Yeah, but
It's not the intersection.
Yeah, but anyways, it's right here. So on this side of the road, putting an ADA ramp, there's plenty of room. The
Okay.
issue would be, if I'm not mistaken, John, it's the sidewalk, we don't have enough room to get the proper grade to meet ADA. But we could put one in here, which would get them to the road, I believe, John. Which
We'd
is
have,
no issue, but we just can't.
yeah, we need to look at serious things, but it's a mid-block crossing, and nobody likes to do mid-block
Right,
crossings because they're
right.
the most dangerous, okay?
right,
We didn't have enough people to vote last time.
So
okay.
you don't have that, okay? The crosswalk and signage for Fisher Avenue. The owner of Locals is dealing with that, okay? That's what's driving this.
Yeah, I spoke to him today too.
But I have not been able to catch up with the owner yet, so I haven't been able to process through that.
I can give you a summary of my discussion with them.
So wait, do we recommend the other thing you guys were talking about, or do we not have it?
Well, if you want them to look at that crosswalk, you gotta recommend to the commissioners.
Do we have enough people for?
Yes, four.
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, we're good.
So does it make sense to put a crosswalk there? Yes, I know it's in the middle of the thing, but we, you know,
It's a mid-block crossing. I don't know if we can get the slopes in there in order to make it work.
Okay.
I have to take some measurements. I have to do a couple of calculations.
right,
It's not a lot of time to say you can do it, you can't do it.
yeah.
And then we have to look at the safety concerns, if there are any safety concerns.
And the thing is, even if we
Send
did,
you back in.
even if we did do both sides, if we could just do the one, because people do cross that bridge. I mean, it's a heavily used, and even if we just made it easier for somebody to, you know, enter the road.
So what does the blacktop path do now? Just
It dead ends onto the
Yeah, the
curb.
blacktop goes
Just
on
right
the-
at curbing.
Yeah.
Curbing guide.
It's just a roll curve, you know, when a soft roll curve.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
But at least you could open it up.
Yeah, if you
too.
open that up, make it.
And the other side, I guess, you
Entrance
might not
to
be able to
the
do
path.
it.
That makes
do it.
sense.
And I must let you know that although you make one, currently it's not ADA compliant, right? Okay, then you get into the whole thing of, well, you fix
How
this,
much more, yeah,
well, in order to make that pathway ADA compliant,
right.
what are you gonna have to do?
Right.
So it's just not one thing.
That's why you need to look at it, John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There we go.
So that's what, so,
We need to
Yeah,
recommend.
we can make a recommendation that.
so yeah, I'd like to make a
commissioners-
recommendation that the commissioners have John's group look into this. John
I
and his
second.
group.
Oh, Terry.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or abstentions? No.
I just figured we needed to push
Yeah.
that one along first before we start
Yeah.
talking about the next one.
Signage, Crosswalk, Fisher,
All right.
locals.
So at Fisher Avenue, I have been tasked to go ahead and look at that, to look at the what takes place crossing there. I've been told that at HealthWorks, people come across, they come out of HealthWorks and they basically walk down to where the garage is, and then they cross the street, okay?
Okay.
But I need to, in my line of things, I have to look at the total picture, right? So I need to find out when that is occurring. And Dave would be the one who would know when that is occurring.
Right.
When his busy times are. So, I have a couple of ideas, but until I get the times with the owner to find out that I can go observe and see
Right.
what's actually taking place, that's where we're at.
Well, he told me today that right now his thought is to end up closing off the roads behind the bank, the old bank. And
And
there's
that
a
present-
walking path into there.
That presents a problem because that doesn't actually belong to the town.
Okay, no,
And there's a
I'm
public-
sure.
There's a private residence back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he said, you know, you could walk in the back where where Poole's house is and all that stuff. He said that right now, if you drive in there, look back there, from their parking lot to Elgin Road, he's using that as his way in and out of the property. And
Does he have a right of way for an ingress
I-
egress? I
I
doubt
don't
it.
think he does either. I told him,
Yeah.
he said, you know, I said, well, that's not my purview.
Right.
I said, you're beyond me. You're gonna have to go to blah, blah, blah.
Right, so, but what I was tasked at looking at was the pedestrian
Right.
traffic coming out of HealthWorks and going across the road.
Right.
Now, as you know, at the corner of Elgin and Fisher, there is a crosswalk. Right, a very nice one. And again, I have some ideas how we can deal with a couple of things to make people more aware that it's a pedestrian area. But as you know, there's a hill involved as you come up the roadway, okay, going up, heading west. And that probably will preclude putting a mid-block crossing there.
Okay.
There's also a streetscape plan that was done, and there's some talk of doing some modifications out in front of the banking area.
What,
So-
a triangle of grass or something, yeah.
So that may be something that we'll have to look at, but until I'm able to go take a look and see what's taking place, I can't.
Right.
And you know what's funny, there's a crosswalk within 15 paces of where people are crossing. So there's an existing crosswalk at the barber shop already.
Yeah.
And all you're talking is 10 to 15 steps. That's it. So we're going to have two crosswalks within
No.
that short distance?
And no.
That's what I'm just saying, you've got to be, and there's ways to control pedestrians, say, hey, no crossing, go to the, we can put signage up or whatever.
Right.
But to have two crosswalks within that distance,
No,
to me
silly.
personally, it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's safe.
Can I get
Personally.
clarification really quickly? We're talking about locals, because you were saying HealthWorks.
HealthWorks.
HealthWorks is.
Anytime Fitness.
Anytime Fitness.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking that was the new smoothie shop.
No,
And I was like, well, down there?
No.
Because I'm like, I bet they would want one too.
I'm sorry, it's Anytime Fitness. I'm old and sometimes things revert.
Yeah. So we're talking about like in front of Town Hall? Or old town hall.
The
Sorry,
bank
Yeah,
building.
Yeah.
I'm old
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I am.
So in
guilty
front of the old
not
bank.
crossing at the-
yeah.
So then we've also got to do, I mean, Jameson's got his parking out there. We've got,
That's
it's all
correct.
kinds of issues
That's
to
correct.
potentially
There's a
deal
whole
with.
confluence of things that would have to happen.
Like you guys said, there's
Like
a
I said-
crosswalk 15 yards down the road, whatever. Yes.
You know, there's ways of dealing with this and, you know.
All right, so do we need to make a recommendation?
You're already looking?
I just need to meet with the owner at some point. I stopped by there yesterday and I stopped by there today. We're not crossing yet, so.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, so,
Alright.
so that one's good. You don't need anything from us on that one.
Negative, nothing.
Okay, a comprehensive plan is us as a group. I haven't separated stuff out. I'll try and get that done this week.
Hey, in regards to that, I had a question. And I
Yeah.
know you were looking at it at one point too. Did we ever officially, a second time, push our parks rules and regs that we had updated like a year and a half ago back to the commissioners?
Not that I'm.
Because I know 2 years ago or whatever it was, we did, and we signed off on it and everything. Because I know Terry, you spearheaded that.
Yeah.
But then it never got picked up by the commissioners, it somehow slipped through the cracks. So do we as a group, even as part of this comprehensive plan thing, should we just review it, make sure everything's good and revisit it, make sure we're all good and everything's still up to
Again,
date?
since they've been written, we do have COVID, we do have a farmer's market, we do have spears potentially being sold, so we might want to revisit it to, just to make sure, we might have to add a few things.
I think at one point we talked about having a workshop, not whatever you want to call it, where we
Work
get
session,
together on the side, the team, and then just go over it for a couple of hours. So we did discuss that. I don't think we've
I just didn't know if
set a
we-
date for that.
Yeah, I hadn't started.
That's
in part
probably a
because-
good winter
Yeah,
project, wouldn't you
that's
think?
exactly what I was thinking. Once we get past summer here, and
Okay.
which we're now starting to.
So
But
do
one-
we want to set kind of an idea of December, January, where we would want to do this, so that we don't keep pushing it?
Do you know how far the planning commission is with their streetscape stuff and all that? Because we kind of filter in there a
So-
little bit.
So you're talking about for a comprehensive plan, correct?
Yes, yep.
All right.
And then we
So
would-
they're getting involved with the comprehensive plan. They're doing work sessions right now. Hopefully, come November timeframe, they'll start working on writing of the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Now, they did hire in a consultant
Yeah.
that does planning, okay?
Yeah.
And that consultant is on board, they just haven't started yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think we do much with them, really. I think it's more we do what we think we need, and they look at it as a
That's
result of
correct.
that.
You're gonna supply them with information
Right.
or reports or recommendations.
Right.
And then the planning commission is the one that is gonna write the comprehensive plan. Now,
Right.
how deeply they write it and how deeply the consultant writes it, that's to be determined.
Right. And I guess how deeply we read our part. 'cause our
That's
part was
correct.
over
And,
that too.
and they'll,
Yeah.
and they then can review it and edit it in
Right.
what they feel is an efficient way of presenting the
Their
information.
timeline for finishing is,
There, I would think there is no set timeline because of COVID,
Right.
slipped everything. I would think that they would hope to have it finished sometime by next spring, I would think.
okay, because I know we had some room with this. So
Yeah, we do have some room with it because they haven't even started into the surveys and everything else
Yeah,
to start to pull all the information together
right, good.
and writing.
Okay, good, because, I mean, I want to do work sessions, but I don't want to start them so soon that it just didn't make sense, right? So,
Well, I mean, our document is separate.
it is, there's some
something from-
streets and stuff that's in the code, and, not code, ethics, but code and rules and regs, so, yeah, but these I think are incorporated into that larger document, but there's still some stuff I think that goes around there.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just thinking, we did this 2 years ago, and I'm thinking, what, just to finalize our document again, our town's document again,
Well,
and
your
passing it
rules and
up.
regulations may not end up in the
Right, that's what I was
comprehensive
thinking,
plan.
and it's a separate
It's a-
document.
So what I would recommend is going back and reviewing the existing comprehensive plan, what we call it a master plan. It's the same thing, okay? All right, and the comprehensive plan that they're gonna do this year, look at it, what's there, see what you, if there's anything you'd like to change, okay? It's more of a, rather than a listing of all the rules and regulations and everything else, it's not a code issue, okay? It's a description of what the vision is. It's the vision of the town.
There's a narrative involved that.
That's correct.
Yeah, so my point is, the other section, the document that we've put forth, that everybody in town reads and whatever, not as a plan, but as, these are the rules and regs of the parks, and that is, that we did 2 years ago, and I'm just saying we should finalize again.
Yes,
We should review, we should get back to the commissioners, and, because I think our update, that's a lot of the stuff, that was written in, was definitely, it was updates that we needed.
So, I guess the first, I guess go ask Bobby for, however you want to do it. I think our town code and everything is, all those stuff is all online. But editing, I have a difficult time doing that.
Our latest document, do they have it? I know we signed it,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure what happened to it, whether she still has it
I
or
think
not.
Bob sent it to me, and I think I forwarded it to you guys. I think I forwarded it, but I'm gonna look and see.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Jeez, dude. I'll look, I feel like I forwarded it at some point.
Okay.
But I think we should set a date. I think we should set a date for when,
That's an engineer for you.
for when we really do want to sit down outside of this monthly meeting, so that we don't waste our precious camera time on that. And we just need to figure out when we want to do that, where we want to do it, so we can just get it done and out of our brains.
Absolutely.
Right?
So, my thought was,
Yeah.
take a look at that notebook, the current
Yeah.
master plan or comprehensive one.
But they're separate.
We're talking rules and
They're separate.
regulations.
Right, we might as well do them together.
Okay.
Well, no, one's the rules and regs, and the other is the master plan.
Rules and regs are,
Rules and regs are what we can put to go
Anytime.
by
but the
24/7, comprehensive plan, master plan, whatever
isn't
is the
until
vision.
spring
The
2020-ish.
vision for it, I thought.
But I think that's all
2022.
in the same notebook, in the same book, isn't it?
No, that's what he said.
Ours is not at all?
The rules and regs are a completely separate
Okay,
document.
all right then, okay.
But there are sections in there where we talk about what you want to do with the parks and
Yes, yeah.
in the
yeah,
future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, then,
Thank you. I will find it.
did I get it or?
So, yeah, I sent, April 12th, I sent
Okay.
it, and it was from Kathy Butt,
Okay.
who sent it to me.
Perfect.
Thank you. Well,
Well,
when do you want to try and do a work session here? And it would, and we're saying, we're talking only about rules right now.
yes.
I mean, I don't know how people are with their weekends or otherwise. We got, I assume that Poolsville Day is probably out because everybody's gonna be fried from it, so.
One of the things that you have to remember is that it's a public meeting.
Oh.
Work sessions we can close, I think. I'll check.
Check
I'll
to
check.
make sure.
Yeah,
Because I know that the work sessions
Oh, it's in there too.
are open,
I think so.
or what?
are open. They're
Are open?
public meetings.
Yeah, people can sit in, but they can't make comment during it.
I think so.
Yeah, but you,
To the board, yeah, that's
yeah.
So, I don't know about this board. Is it?
I know that I'm able to go to the meetings, although they haven't necessarily kept me in the loop, although
correct.
they haven't had some, is what it sounds like. They haven't really had any meetings yet, right?
They've had meetings and people coming in to testify.
Right, right,
Tell, they've called in, for instance, the
right,
historic group.
right.
And the senior group and other groups that have been invited in to testify.
Right.
Okay. But as far as them really getting into the meat and potatoes of the the comprehensive plan, that has not occurred yet.
Okay, right. All right, so,
I mean, to be honest, it's a document we did 2 years ago. There shouldn't be a whole lot different to it.
that's probably true.
I think we had to add stuff about the farmer's market
Right. Yeah.
is one thing we
And-
talked about. And I don't recall what other hot topics
Yeah.
there were.
When do people want to meet? You want to meet on a weeknight or a weekend?
I can do weekends except for October. Markov's Haunted Forest.
I'd rather do a weeknight, but
I can do weeknights.
I really don't think it's gonna take that long.
No, you're probably right.
What about you, Terry?
Weeknights are usually better.
I can do.
Kid games are Saturday, so
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know the schedule off the top of my head. And season goes till the end of October anyway.
You wanna just look at the calendar, talk with town hall people, see what
Yeah,
they got
see what they
open,
got
this
going
room's
on.
open, and
Yeah, I'll do that,
throw
yeah.
out a couple dates.
Yep. Sounds good, because I think we're all kind of just done
You wanna
with
resend
tonight.
it out, or do you wanna, do you mind?
Not with a proper subject.
There you go.
Alrighty, yeah. So, I think that's it, other than, John, I think you kind of updated us to what you're doing, right? Did we let you finish?
Yeah.
And then, all right, Preston, you're up then.
Okay, getting ready for Poolsville Day. We've been working at it for the last couple of weeks, getting things in place. And I think it's gonna go, well, actually, we started getting stuff in place for Poolsville Day. It takes a couple of weeks to get things set in place. We've really been working on the inside corridor. Everything's been remulched, cleaned up. So we are getting into that position to do that. Right after that, we'll go into our fall cleanup for just the parks and stuff. Terry's baseball league started. I've been trying to drag it a couple times, get the fields in there. We did add a load of ball diamond mix to Stevens. And so, just fall time busy, which is good, and the grass took off again. My God, it's been growing on there. And like I said, busy, just doing everything we need. We'll get back into our fall tree work also, once Poolsville Day is over. And then, believe it or not, you figure the lighting ceremony and everything's only 2.5 months away. So once we finish one, I hope we do the scarecrows. Do you know Kathy plans to do the scarecrows? I hope we do the scarecrows.
She did last year.
Yeah, I think we're still going to do it. So we clean up Poolsville Day, and then literally the scarecrows will be back in within a couple of weeks on that. So, once again, fall time busy for us, which is great. And then by October 6th, we'll probably start pulling our Christmas stuff out, checking it and stuff like that. So no complaints. And then October, November, we're going to visit about my personnel and make sure I get plenty of summer help. They cut me last year. I need people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll stress that again. And I think, Doug, do you bring that up, or will I bring that up to the meeting?
I'll bring it up or back you up
Yeah.
or
And
whatever.
and
yeah,
one reason
yeah.
they did cut it back, because we did have unusual situation. We had to pay extra people, Wade was getting paid, Bobby was getting paid extra
Yeah.
too. So I do understand the movement of money, But we don't have that anymore, and I would like to move on to my 2 6-month employees and 2 summer help employees. And if you want the town to maintain its look, that's what it takes. It takes
Yep.
people with weed eaters. I mean, there's nothing else I can do about it. The manual end of things, I need help to do that.
Yeah.
And our mow crew has been mowing 4 or 5 days a week. I mean,
Yep.
some weeks we didn't even get the whole town cut because of the
Yeah.
growth. So, anyways, not really complaining, but I like the town to look good, and this
Yeah.
what it. If you once again, if the people want the town to look good, they got to give me the resources
Yep.
to do it.
Yep.
On there, so. And Terry, anything for me for? I know your fall season's going.
No, it's, yeah, we start Saturday, so.
Good.
Yeah, kids have been out on the field practicing.
Good.
The fields have held up really well, so,
Yep.
yay.
Yep, and I try to get it dragged a couple more times, just try to get it loosened all back up, and we try to get the grass out of most of it, and we'll try to get another spray on it, and, so you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we had one of the coaches out there, pulling weeds at the infield. I was like, okay.
Well, this
I'm
is
running
time of year, I
practice.
mean, we've done it, and we've dragged it, and, we normally get it back in, but
Yeah, and
really
we'll-
just,
Yeah, we'll start to hand drag it and, kind of once.
but the
it's-
rain really has killed us, I mean, it just keeps feeding these things, I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, man,
Yeah.
stop growing.
Supposed to be dormant.
Yeah, so. And I think this year I planted the sunflowers. I think a lot of people like that. They like watching the pumpkins grow in there on it, and so I might do something a little different next year. I might do a bed of black eye Susans
Okay.
out front and everything. The state flower,
Mhm.
and so I'm gonna try to be a little bit more active, putting additional color to our park out here and everything. And I do plan this fall. I am adding another pollinator patch over Collier Circle Pond,
Okay.
which is actually, the other two we have, they're not quite accessible. I mean, they are, but it's really out of their way. I want to have a large one that's on our bike trail that's a little bit more accessible. Because the other one is inside our solar panel, so you really can't, you catch a little corner of it. The other one is at the end of the plant road away
Yeah.
from the peak population. And with that said, there's something else that COVID has really brought to light, and we addressed it, sidewalks, okay? And as everybody knows, since COVID, it really has shown how good our path is. But there's a few things that we need to address, and we kind of faltered on it because it was state right away. I think we need to put another effort, a little bit more effort in the end of the plant road, taking it over to Hirschberger. Because they come out and then them kids and the parents are walking on 107 and that real steep hill right there. Granted, that's the state right of way, there's a homeowner.
Yeah.
I don't think enough effort was put into it. Because I'm telling you right now, somebody's gonna get flattened right there.
Yeah.
And our use is so much, I mean, it has grown exponentially, which is great. That means our system's good, but there are so many people going down Plant Road, and then they try to get down to that Hirschberger, or they turn around and go all the way back. So if we want to continue that nice look, we really need to. And I think Hooper said he didn't care. He'd give us the right of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the other pieces of property, and I don't know how aggressively, no, that's the wrong word, how we, approach those people there and the state. And I think we
Yeah.
need to revisit that. And that's just my observation as, I see it every day. It's at the end of our property, end of our road. And so I'd like to see us revisit that this coming year. Because, bicyclists, they love it. The people walking love it, but we need to make it safer. That is really one of the more critical places that people are all the time on that road.
While you're still talking paths, West Willard, that blacktop trail all the way up along West Willard, look nice. Up
That
to,
tied in too.
Yeah.
It tied in that loop a little bit, and it's something. Another thing that John and I talked about, everybody, is that I don't know how it doesn't tie into Hoskinson at all. I mean, it dead ends at the new development, and there's 100 yards of homes. Not even 100 yards, about 100 yards. There's no sidewalk connection to the rest of our trails. It just dead ends.
which part you're talking about?
That is on Bottomer Avenue.
Bodmer.
If you take Bodmer all the way up
Down
where it
Bottomer.
dead ends with the new development, it's not connected. There's no sidewalk connecting it to our system.
There will be though.
No.
Bodmer, Old Bodmer.
You know where bottom or top line?
Yeah, I live
Just,
there.
just keep on walking, and you know where the new development is all the way up
Yeah.
there? From Hoskinson up to there, there's nothing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's where the connection needs to be.
Well, isn't that part of our current building
Hoskinson
code?
to
Part of what you do is you provide for.
So-
John knows
or
more
do
about
the
this.
Sidewalks?
So they're across the fronts of those properties. There's only the right of ways, which are in the swales, right? So in the new subdivision, there is sidewalk. Okay, but across the older pieces of property, there is no sidewalk there. And
that strip of Bodmer.
that strip from Hoskinson on Bodmer up to the new subdivision, there is no sidewalk there. Okay. There's been talk of putting a sidewalk in there, but we had a proposal that's hanging out there that the intent is to go actually, all the way, I think it was to Hughes with a sidewalk, and that was gonna be done under trying to get a grant for what they call safe routes to school. That has not moved forward because of the technical issues that were happening in town hall at the time. How's that for, okay? All right.
Yeah.
So, and then there was also a discussion of putting in a sidewalk connection on Oxley Farm to connect from westerly to Oxley Farm, to the new section of Oxley Farm, which is in the new subdivision. That hasn't moved forward as of yet either, because of what I stated before. So,
Is there anything that we should be doing?
I don't know that anything that you need to be doing right now
Okay.
until, I would say, let our new town manager settle in for a month or so,
Okay,
and then bring it up. I mean,
okay,
that's my opinion, at least.
okay.
I agree 100%, but I think, my observation, I am in the town and everything, it's something we really need to put on our agenda and to start, and most of the commissioners, they do like to bike and they like to get around, and, you know, one thing, safety's always been one thing, like when Wade was here, I mean, we have a snow plow, I mean, we do sidewalks just so kids can go to school, so we actually do some private property, but in the end game is to get people to places safely. And
Right.
this, once again, there's a few things that we need to really look at, so our citizens are safe. That's our job, to look after our citizens.
Yep.
And so we need to, like I said, there's a few of them. And we did an overview of the sidewalks, but things have progressed and our usage has jumped up
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit. So I would like to, maybe December, we sit down and get a proposal up to take two new town managers to say, hey, look, this is a problem area, a safety area. These other two are common sense
Right.
tie-ins. And so they can get the process going, and have John look at it, get some numbers, and we can start chasing, grants or whatever
Okay,
on that, so.
okay, good.
Anyway, that's just mine.
Okay.
About that.
Last one question I had, and just because I haven't heard, the federal money, that whatever it was, that was coming to Poolsville, is that been discussed for like, is it I&I, wastewater treatment, or do we have, I just, because I haven't heard, so I wasn't sure.
So the town clerk, got, the money's going to arrive, okay? If it hasn't already. The information that Bobby got said eligible water and sewer projects, okay? But it doesn't define what eligible are. So she's reached out to her contact to find out what the definition of eligible is.
Yeah, I was just curious, I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, we've got all the projects sitting on a shelf,
John's been busy. Right. John's been busy.
so.
No, I just wanted to ask, because I
Yeah.
didn't know where it was,
Yeah,
where things were.
that's where it's at right now.
Thank you, thank you.
Anybody else? We done?
No, I got
Make a motion.
I got a quick question. And it may, the massive dumpster that's at, right across the entrance from Stevens Park, is that, if that's not you then, obviously, oh, no, my conversation with you is different. Do we know that, whose that is there? It's a big industrial,
those
it's
roll-
bigger than,
is
it's
it one
bigger
of
than
those
your,
roll-offs?
yeah, it's a roll-off, yeah.
And where is it at?
As you come out of Stevens Park, the park entrance, it's right there.
When did that show up?
I saw it today when I was doing some driving, so it happened real soon.
Must have just gotten there today, because
Yeah.
I didn't see it this morning.
No, I didn't see it either. It just
It
showed
doesn't
up.
really affect you so much, other than the fact that it's there and it makes it a little bit of a
What side
a
of that?
nasty corner,
Is it
because
on
you
the
can't
street?
see it around it. Yeah, it's on the street.
Oh, you're not allowed to do that.
It's a
I
rusty,
thought-
it's a rusty
I thought
old
the
one
roll-
too.
I thought the roll-offs had to at least go into driveways or yards.
That's, well, yeah, that's what I thought too.
Give me 1 second. 1 second. Watch this.
Yeah, because I was there this morning, and the gates were still locked, because the pool, some of the pickleball players were
Yeah.
waiting. And there was nothing there, right?
Oh,
So
no,
it's on-
you wouldn't have missed this. It's bigger than your guys' one.
Okay. Yeah, that sea container's pretty big, so.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody was doing renovations. The Duncans aren't doing anything,
That's what I'm finding out right now.
Yeah.
and
Is it in front of his house?
is it on the left side or right side
Where
as
is
you're
it?
going into the park?
Where is it, Doug? Here's a map. There's two houses on either side.
Yeah, it's like, I swear, it's like right there. Right at the, as you enter in, but it's kind of on
On
this.
Spates Hill or on
It's on-
Seneca Park?
It's probably more on Spates Hill. It's on, yeah,
Oh.
because this is the park, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's on Spates Hill, yeah.
right near the end, right
Yeah.
near the end, the Seneca Chase Park Road.
Yep.
whatever it's called.
Hey, Terry, my guys are normally there by 7:30, 7:15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
deal.
I don't remember seeing that.
Do you know what about the roll-off that's in your neighborhood now? Do you know what's going on with that? Hello? Yes. Just out of curiosity, just out of a curiosity thing, no big deal right now.
So it's right like cat a corner from
Okay,
Huffnagel's
fine.
house? They're on
Maybe.
the corner, basically on the corner of
Uh-huh.
Spates Hill, right,
Yeah.
and
Make a
Seneca
left,
Chase.
left into Seneca.
Yeah. That's what's going, we just want to know what's going on.
Is he talking Matt Duncan?
Maybe.
Okay, all right, I just stop by tomorrow, I'll find out. So that's no big deal, we're just trying to find out, because normally you don't put those on the road, because it causes an issue, that you gotta put it in your driveway.
That sounds like Matt.
It's Matt.
That
Okay.
sounds like Matt Duncan.
That's cool,
Oh, it's Duncan.
all right.
A citizen.
We're in the Parks Board meeting, and it was just brought up, because it's kind of causing a pension thing. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's cool. All right, thank you, Matt. All right, bye. All right, apparently they're gonna start demolition in the house there. So I'll go by tomorrow and tell them they're gonna put it in their driveway
Yeah.
Check and see if they got a remodel.
also.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, John. That's what it leads to.
Yes, it does, every
God.
What's that?
You know?
Town enforcer.
Yeah.
Right.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Sorry.
We're out here at 9:05.
Did you catch me on going, yes?